Okay, it is working. It looked like it wasn't working, sorry. So there's this big long pause of me freezing looking at the screen. Good job. Hi everyone, I have another tutorial for you today. I had to go to a job fair today, so I didn't have time to film this morning when I was getting ready to go to the job fair, but I decided I would tell you what I did and sort of show you. So this is a tutorial for, well, not just job fairs, but for job interviews. You've probably, if you've looked into recommendations for job interviews, you've probably seen a little bit about how less is more, don't overdo your makeup, don't wear strong perfumes, etc., etc. So here's what I did, and a kind of a good rule of thumb, as the saying goes. If you're used to wearing a lot of makeup, you're going to want to tone it down significantly. It's possible once you get the job, depending on the environment at your workplace, you might be able to experiment all you want with makeup, but you don't know till you get the job. And if you don't wear a whole lot of makeup, don't go all out and wear a ton, because they're not looking for that. What they're looking for is someone who looks very presentable, professional. So you want your makeup to help you look polished, not like you're wearing makeup. They're not looking for how good a makeup job you did, they're looking for someone who can look professional. So before I forget this part, what I did with my nails was actually just to make sure that they were all trimmed to the same length, made sure there weren't any sharp edges, kind of made sure they were uniform, and I didn't do anything else to them. You don't want to have bright colors. Sure, you're showing your personality, but again, they're looking for professional, so very neutral colors, like for me, like a pale pink would probably have been fine, but I chose to just go with plain nails. It seemed like the safest thing. It would took less time, obviously, but also then I didn't have to worry about my manicure chipping or splitting or something getting smeared as I was doing it, and having them not look nice when I went out to shake hands with people today. So this is going to be a little bit like my everyday makeup, but I added a little bit to it just to make myself a little bit more polished, especially since I didn't sleep well last night, so I had nice dark circles under my eyes. So the first thing I did was I used the ALF under eye concealer. I did not use the highlighter because I didn't want sparkles under my eyes. I did use the concealer though, even though I don't normally mess around with concealer. Just under my eyes, I didn't really, there was one spot on my face I used regular concealer on. I have this little red mark on my nose. It keeps coming back. I think something must be rubbing on it and irritating it. Maybe I sleep with a little sleep mask, so maybe that's irritating it, I don't know. But I put powder foundation all over my face and it was still like really red, so I did dab a little bit of regular concealer on it. I am a little broken out, like I have a little tiny zit on the tip of my nose, but the powder concealer covered that up completely. Yeah, this side of my chin. I'm trying to think. Yeah, this side of my chin I have a little breakout, but I didn't mess around with concealer with it because it's really easy to just draw more attention to your zit. If you cake the makeup on, and yes, I know there's techniques to make sure you don't do that, but let's face it, you're getting ready for an interview, you're going to be nervous, and it's more potential for things to go wrong with your makeup. So in fact, I had a couple little mishaps. So this was the powder foundation I used, which I've talked about in other videos, the Everyday Minerals in Alabaster, their jojoba base, because my skin's still in dry skin form. It's starting to get to the point where this is going to be, my skin's going to start to get too oily for this, but not quite there yet. Especially today, it was really windy. So that took care of my blank canvas, I guess you could say. One other thing I added in that I don't normally do for my everyday makeup is I did put on an eyeshadow. I used this pale pink shade called Ballerina's Revenge. I know how to say ballerina, but apparently I can't spit it out. It's from the company Glamour Dolls. For me, it blends with my skin tone really well because I have a lot of pink in my skin. So it didn't really look like I was wearing eyeshadow, just that my eye area was a little bit brighter, a little bit lighter. So it almost worked kind of like a highlighter, I guess you could say. And it's not overly shimmery, a little bit of shimmer, but not a whole lot. I did put some of my powder foundation on a little domed brush when I went under my eyes with my powder foundation, and I used that. I also went over my eyelid and then put this on instead of using a primer, because I didn't want this to stand out as being really pink. I kind of wanted it to fade into my skin tone and just make me look a little bit more polished, not like, oh, she's wearing a really pretty shade of pink eyeshadow. That was one of my mishaps, though, because my one eyelid had some dry skin on it. I didn't realize. I knew I had some dry skin around here this morning and had put moisturizer on it, but I didn't realize I had some on my eyelid. And so I put the powder foundation on, and I'm like, that's weird. It's like balling up in this one area, and then I put the, the eyeshadow brush should brush that out, and I put it on, and I realized, oh, because it's caught on dead skin. Dead dry skin, lovely. So it was flaked up enough that I just kind of scraped it off. Sorry, that's kind of disgusting, but so, you know, best laid plans, and I was already keeping this pretty simple. No mascara, no eyeliner, which if you watched my everyday makeup video, you know I'm not really into that anyways. If you've watched some of my other videos, I've mentioned the fact that I'm not crazy about the way mascara feels on my eyes. Obviously you can use those if you want to, as long as you don't go overboard with them for an interview. A lot of people do when they go in for job interviews. I would recommend against it, not because of my own personal preference, but because of two reasons. One, I've mentioned before that it's, you know, you might be a bit nervous. I know I always am. I'm not looking forward to looking for a new job. The office I work for is closing, so it's not so kind of out of my control. But I remember back when I was looking for a job several years ago, I'm always really nervous. And probably more so than a lot of people are, but chances are you're going to be a little bit nervous. And doing things with pointy objects near your eyeball when you're nervous is kind of a safety risk. Mascara and eyeliner always have the potential of being a safety risk for your eyes to begin with, because it is that people do wind up poking themselves in the eye with mascara wands and things like that. Usually people don't, but I mean, it does happen. That's just going to up your risk, and that's not good. And mascara and eyeliner I think they're really easy things to kind of overdo. You wind up with clumps or much thicker line than you intended, and then you might have to wipe everything off and start all over again. You don't want to have to spend a ton of time on your makeup when you're getting ready to go to a job interview. You want to calm down, think about what you're going to say. So in my opinion, I think it's just better to go without it. it's makeup, so, you know, obviously you're making your own choices. That's just my recommendation based on, like I said, safety issues, potential for things to go wrong. The other thing I had go a little wrong for me is I wanted to, you can't tell that this is pale pink, it looks white from what I can tell on the screen. But it's a pale pink blazer, and the pale pink, blush I usually use has a little bit of sparkle in it, and I didn't want sparkle. I was trying to avoid sparkle if at all possible, because like I said, I wanted to look polished, not like I was wearing makeup. And since I'm so pale anyways, I thought that between the two, the fact that it would go better with my blazer and not look like I have a whole lot of blush, but give me a teeny tiny bit of color. I thought I got this sample from Meow Cosmetics quite a while ago. It's from their Pink Ink Blush collection. This is their Pink Dolphin. Can't really tell. Yeah, you can't really tell. It looks like there's powder in there, but it looks like it has no color. Well, it's very pale pink. And I tried it out when I got it initially, and what I remembered is it was so pale that even on me, it looked like I hardly had any blush on, but just a little tiny bit of very light pink, and I thought, that's perfect. I'll use this. I won't have to worry about sparkle. It turns out it has a bit of a sheen to it, almost like a highlighter. That might be what they intend it to be used as. I don't know. So I have all this pale pink sheen on my cheeks, and I thought, oh man, I don't want to wipe everything off and start all over. If I do that, I'm going without makeup. You know, I'll clean it all off and I'm going without it. But I thought I'll try fixing it first, and I took just a little bit of my powder foundation and brushed it over it, and that got rid of enough sheen and left enough of a little pale pink that it fixed it, so that's good. But just little things that can go wrong. You think you have it all planned out, and because you want it to be perfect, it's one of those unwritten rules of the universe, it doesn't work out. And then I finished off with a tinted lip balm. This is Kitty Kisses Tinted Lip Balm with SPF 15 from Glamour Dolls. They're the same ones who did this eyeshadow. I'm tired, can you tell? Of course, I am always having problems with words when I'm filming, so maybe I can't really blame it on there. This is in the shade 04. The name of it is #CatHairDon'tCare, because it's Kitty Kisses. Isn't that cute? It looks kind of like a rather bright baby pink in the tube, but it's a tinted lip balm. It goes on just as a pale pink. I decided to use this instead of my Burt's Bees pink lip balm because it had SPF 15, and I figured it gave my lips a little bit of protection to and from the car. So that's my tutorial. Those are my suggestions for how to do interview makeup. I did not wear any perfume at all. I would also recommend that. I mean, obviously wear deodorant so you don't stink, but I would also recommend staying away from any perfume, even light perfume, for a job interview. You never know if the people that you're interviewing with or someone in the office might have a scent allergy, and you might only be wearing perfume when you're not in the office because you can't wear it there. And if you wear it in for the interview, they might decide, despite her qualifications, I don't know about this, especially if they have two people they really liked and the one didn't wear perfume and you did. Obviously that's a personal preference too. That's just my suggestion. This is all suggestions. This is what I did. It's suggestions based on my experience. Of course, it's been a while since I've job hunted, but based on what I've heard from other people as well as my own experiences, these are my suggestions. I'm going to stop babbling at you now. Thank you for watching. I hope this is helpful. And if you're looking for a job too, good luck. Bye.